Peace, peace. Good afternoon to the family.
What up? What up?
What's up? What's up? I'm Brother Jabari, Nat Tur in the building, and I just wanted to come today. I want to do a lot more live. We're trying to do a lot more YouTubing and different things, but just wanted to interact with my people. I'm just learning this StreamYard stuff and trying to do certain things. So you see, as we come, we'll come to you with more technology as we actually go on. So we appreciate, for those of us who be joining, who be watching a little bit later. I got in the building with me today, Sister Kenda Bell, Sproul, and she's working with the Joy Factor. She does many things on creating healthy relationships, spirituality, a host of other things that she'll tell you even more. But she actually is working with us, with like a campaign manager, or helping out in any way possible. So she's been working to help us rebuild up this whole Reality Speaks brand and all of that kind of stuff. So we're gonna be coming at you strong, coming at y'all strong.
Yes.
With some of the things we already started this Bonded by the Blade, and by the way, Bonded by the Blade with me and my brother Sunyata, we will be on tomorrow.
Tomorrow. All right.
We're on tomorrow at 9:00. But then after that, we're gonna move to Tuesdays, to like Tuesday nights. After tomorrow, so we'll be there. So we'll put the information out, put the link out there. But what we want to do is jump right into it. The topic that we're talking about today, and I was just saying, having a I won't quit philosophy. And I just wanted to tell y'all my story. For those who don't know my story, my business story, organization story. Just wanted to tell you a little bit about and where we at today. But before we do that, to talk about House Bill 1317.
1317 promise.
1317. If you go to the state board now, I went to the site yesterday to see what it looked like, what it would look like, and they actually had space where they had like for 3 different apprentice barbers. It used to just be one, so that was big for me to go see. But again, if you're not familiar, House Bill 1317, that's the bill that's in the state of Maryland now, that a master barber can train 3 different barbers at three apprentice barbers at one time. So we were happy that we were there and introducing that bill, and Delegate Stephanie Smith actually put it through and made it happen. But it was a process. It was a process. But it's the joy that you get to feel from actually being a part of making some things happen and changing the law for your whole field, that you actually work in, and for your people. It's a great feeling. But we had the celebration of a day. I guess one of the first bill passing parties, what I called it. And I wanted some of the barbers to come out, some of my friends to come out and celebrate with us. And we came out and we did it. We had a good time, and people talked about barbering and what it means to them. And we just had a little time. It wasn't, it wasn't. We wasn't expecting a whole lot of people, but we had enough people to come out, and we had love in the room. And there we announced something special that we was doing. Just like we hit the ground running. That bill passed that day, and we made a special announcement that same day that bill actually passed. So we'll talk about that. So, Sister Kenda, what did you think about the whole bill passing party, and just the whole bill in general?
Well, yeah. Well, thank you. First of all, I've been a fan of your work for many years. My son and I used to come to your lectures often. My son, of course, came to the barbershop, got his hair cut. I got my locks maintenance there. So the idea that you have taken what you preach into being a movable and accessible way for young people and older people, because your students, they range from 9 until 40, right? You have
my oldest one like 57.
Yeah. So what I like is that a lot of times we have organizations or groups that want to teach you about certain great things that our ancestors have done, but you're giving them the tools to be a part of history. And I want to commend you on being a part of history. You're in the history books. Do you realize you're in the history books? You are transforming millions of lives to come by being able to do this. And I don't know if you guys understand what this means, is that there is barbers, not just him, but other master barbers can train people in a skill and a craft so that they could not only take care of themselves, be entrepreneurs, but they can also heal and beautify the people around them. So I'm excited to see this growth of that, and the idea that people are behind you. You got a state bill. How did it feel? Because you've been doing this for like a while, you've been really funding it like for yourself and wanting to get more. But when you got that bill passed, when they told you the bill passed, how did you feel?
Man, it was a great feeling, but I felt this feeling in 2019 though. And because we actually been fighting for since 2019. And we went there and the bill actually passed 2019. Only problem was, instead of it saying apprentice, it said student. And the state board had a problem with that because of that one word being out of place. They didn't recognize it and they didn't respect the bill. And they like, nah, that's not what that means. And they told me it meant something else. And I'm like, well, how would you tell me? I'm the one that wrote this stuff, stuff up. You know what I mean? But they was like, nope, it's not gonna happen. And the delegate during that time who put the bill in, she wasn't able to really fight for, to get that change in the way that it could have been changed without having to go back through. And then 2020, we put the bill back in again. But that's when COVID hit. During that time. So they knocked all of the small bills off the table at that time because, of course, we were dealing with the COVID situation. So then come 2021, we come back around again. Now, so it went from House Bill 1021, which I really wanted to go through because that's my mom's birthday. So I'm like, can you believe that bill is 1021? So it always started as 1021. Then it went under Delegate Kurt Anderson at 1041. It became 1041, and then it came back through with Delegate Stephanie Smith as House Bill 1317. And so that's what it became, 1317. And then when they told me that it actually went through, and then I actually called the state board and I was talking, and I heard I actually was calling for something else. And she's like, well, as of October 1st, it goes in effect that you'll be able to do 3 apprenticeships. I was like, oh, I said, so for them to hear them say it, it was special. And I'm like, man, this is big, and for people like myself who I have Conscious Heads Barbering Boot Camp, it really means something because I got a constant system that I had where I bring apprentice through, but it was just that I only could do one person at a time, which would take almost a year for each person.
Wow.
So it was really hard, to actually bring more, but we had a network of master barbers, but it was just hard to actually be able to do so. Man, I feel really good about it. I feel really good about it because I could just bring more people in, in general. So it's a great feeling.
And I'm sorry, can I ask you? So
yeah.
So anyone that is a master barber in the state of Maryland can use this bill to help to train more barbers. Is that correct?
Yeah, any master barber. If you got your master barber license, it could be you, and then you can have 3 people at the same time, underneath you. Now, I mean, hopefully barbershops and people will use this and run with it, because this could be a tool that can help to even save your barbershop, it's and take your barbershop beyond, so it could even go beyond with not just one shop, but a chain of shops could happen if you actually use it correctly the way that it could be used. And then the other thing is there's so many unlicensed barbers that's out today, who say that they maybe don't get their license because barbering school is too expensive. If it is too expensive, then they'd be able to go through and be able to go under apprenticeship if they find a master barber as well. Like I said, now we have a system that we actually use where we bring people in. We got like a farming system that we use when they come through my barbering boot camp. After they go through my barbering boot camp, then we have a certain process. Then they go out on the field with me and they go out and cut. We go out and cut hair for free. Homeless, back to school events. We've cut thousands of heads, that we've cut for free. you know, with my students. I teach them a certain system so I can go out there with like about 10 barbers and, you know, and walk them through like I'm actually, you know, like I'm actually doing a band or something, you know what I mean? What they call
That's
it, choreography. What they
no,
call
that's cool. So how do you get your students? Like, how does that work exactly?
I just really honestly just run ads on Facebook. I mean, you know, I'll run a video, take some pictures, and I'll put it up and I'll boost the post off of you know, some of my platforms that I actually have, you know, Instagram, Facebook, and run it, and people see it, you know, and they call me, and then we respond to them, and we do it that way. You know what I'm saying? I'm
Mhm.
sure, like, you know, we do this video here. People heard about the bill. A lot of people been calling me lately, you know what I mean, about, you know, coming through. So I've gotten a lot of calls like that. So it's just like, you know, either word of mouth or, but it's easy for me to fill a class up. Actually, I have a couple classes that's getting ready to start, you know what I'm saying, like for the new year,
Mhm.
but I have one that's going to actually be starting in November. So anybody that's interested in that, you know what I'm saying, you want to, you can inbox me. And I can give you more information on that, you know what I mean? Because as soon as I really put the information, I was probably gonna be like starting tomorrow.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
To finish filling that class up. But you know, we only take 10 a class, 10 people per class. So you know, so those classes will fill up pretty fast. But that's how we do it. We just put it out, and those different platforms, people contact me instantly, and you know, and I just, you know, we fill a class up.
But so with all of these people that have come through your doors to get the training, and with this bill that's being passed, you need more space, right?
We so you know, the strange thing is when the pandemic hit, I started to I actually moved. I relocated to another side of town, to the west side of
Mhm.
Baltimore, and unexpectedly, you know what I mean. So when I started doing my walking routine, walking through the neighborhood, I would always walk past Wisdom Bookstore, you know what I mean,
Mhm.
not walk past that. At this point, because I'm over here now, I will go in and talk to the brother Tahuti there, and I started going in talking to him, and we started building, you know what I mean, and because we hadn't had a lot of time in the past, he would come out to the events, and I would see him at some of his events and all, but he would you know, me and him started to talk a lot, and as we started to talk a lot, we started to say, hey, yeah, maybe we could do some events and different things, and I would just stop in there on my way with
Mhm.
my morning walk, and then I kind of find out maybe like maybe a month later from the last talk that we actually had, that he had gotten into a really bad bike accident.
Yeah.
And so, you know what I mean, I heard, I'm like, oh man, you know what I'm saying? So now I'm walking past in the Wisdom Bookstore, and I'm like, man, what's I wonder what I wonder, you know what I mean? I would check and see how he was doing, and I'm like, I wonder what they're going to do. I mean, like with the space or whatever. Are they going, you know, because he got the Wisdom Palace next door to it also. So I kept wondering, like, I wonder what they're going to do with the building or what they're going to do with the space. And I'm like, hey, you know what I'm saying? I wasn't even thinking really about expanding like that at first, but it was like the spirit was like kind of like, man,
Mhm.
maybe I need to consider maybe doing something there, because he was pretty much, Baba Tahuti was pretty much doing everything that we was doing. He
Mhm.
if you go in there, like he had set up, he had bookstore, and then on the bottom level, he actually had chairs, and he got, right now he got stations down there. Like,
Wow.
you know what I mean? Like, yeah,
Mhm.
he got barbering stations down on the bottom level. So
Mhm.
I don't think he got that off the ground the way he was trying to do it. But you know, I think he had some natural hairstylists, and he may have had some barbers before. So it's kind of still the same concept that we were doing at Conscious Heads Barbershop, you know. So I'm like, well, what better energy or vibe for us to go in there and turn um that top floor into a regular barbershop salon, you know, makeup or whatever, and then have space inside of there what we would call the Tahuti, dedicated to Baba Tahuti, the Tahuti Wisdom Bookstore, and it'll be a small portion of it, but you know what I mean, to pay homage to that brother, and you know what I mean, and hope for, you know, his recovery as he continue, you know,
Mhm.
as he continues to recover. So on the bottom level of that portion will be a continuation of the barber and boot camp, and we have job development that there where we would bring in different homeless people that's unfortunate, and we actually bring them in and cut and perform the free services, just like when we go out to the streets, we will perform those free services out there.
Wow. So if I'm not mistaken, this is called the Conscious Reflections Empowerment Initiative, which
Exactly.
which is giving people the opportunity to support you supporting others. And tell people a little bit more. Like, you've already given us this layout, but what would people supporting you in this mission, what would that mean for your students, future students, and the community at large? What would that look
Like
like?
I said, it's a movement. It's like that snowball that you know start at the top of a hill, and you know I mean the more we push it, the more you know I mean it continues to grow. You know what I mean? So it's like now I have a lot of students. I've been doing this for like the last 4 almost 5 years. I've been doing this. So I have students that's ready. So initially when this bill passed, I'm like, I probably don't have enough space and conscious heads to even bring in, you know what I mean, you know, for the numbers that we actually can pull in. So Reflection Eternal, which is another barbershop on St. Paul Street, who was a shop that was a part of Conscious Heads and the Survivors Nation movement. The brother, actually, me and brother Sunni Yada actually started Conscious Heads together in 2000 in the year 2000. And a brother named Dennis Harden, they all was my business partners when we first started. Sunyata separated, and then he went with a brother by the name of Dwelly, and they opened up the Reflection Eternal barbershop. And so what happened, brother Sunyata is my first person that I ever trained under apprenticeship. He's my first one. And now 2 months ago, I think 2 or 3 months ago, he got his master barber license. He's my first master barber that I have under me, and under many more that's to come. One of my goals is to train. Man, I want to go into history books again for training
Right.
thousands of students, thousands upon thousands of students. I want to be able to train and bring into this craft. I ain't finished. I mean, we did House Bill 1317, but I'm a, you know what I mean, before I'm gone away from this earth, I want to crack a bunch of records. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to do this and did this, and I trained such and such students, and I did this, and then he went on to do this, and then they had a chain of barbershops. So what happened is though, with brother Sunyata, who's my best friend, coming up, and my great friend to this day. So we actually joined ourselves back together. And so what we're going to do with Reflection Eternal and Conscious Heads, we said, well, look, that shop that I was telling you about with brother with Baba Tahuti, how about we go in it together and let's open up a third shop together for right now. You know what I'm saying? So we actually joined forces. Like, I mean, you know, this is something that's monumental too. We joined forces, and now we're going to open up the Conscious Reflection barbershop and natural hair salon. You know what I'm saying? And
natural. Oh, that's right. And you're going to offer training for people that want to learn how to do natural hair too. Am I correct?
We have coming up. We've already done one. We have coming up another natural hair course that we're gonna have, and we're gonna also offer braiding. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna actually offer that up also. Because and makeup, and makeup and makeup. We're gonna actually, so it's a movement. Like I said, is centered around barbering. But see, when you get to the natural hair and you get to the braiding, the thing about that is that you don't need a state board license to actually do that. You know what I'm saying? Not in the state of Maryland. So that's why that's a little more easy to actually go through. You know what I'm saying? When you talk about barbering, or you have to go through, you know what I'm saying, your hours and those different things. So yeah, so what's going on is amazing. I mean, yeah, it's monumental. Two shops joining together, two great best friends coming back together again. You know what I'm saying? And not just that, two shops joining, you know, to make things happen. Because I mean, it's you know, we don't hide it, you know what I mean? And we'll talk about it, we'll magnify it even more. Of course, when Reflection Eternal left from Conscious Heads, we wasn't on the best terms. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, we left as, you know, fussing brothers, you know what I mean? Brothers that had, you know, some arguments with each other. So that went on for years and years. And then, you know, after a certain, you know, almost 10 years, and after a certain period of time, you know, and living life, and brothers just realized, like, wait a minute, I think we did a lot more stuff when we was together than being apart. And I think we're a lot more powerful with being together. So and that just merged us back together, you know, so that we can actually do some of the things that we need to do. So that's where we at right now, you know. So I'm excited. He's excited. For those who knew the story, because what happened when we were a major force in the community as Survivors Nation, and when we separated, it left some people in the you know what I mean? It was like kind of like when parents separate, you know what I'm saying? Like people like, oh man, we're here with my mother, my father. Dang, I love both of them. Well, what I'm supposed to do? Like, am I supposed to choose a side? You know what I mean? Some people chose sides, some people just like, man, some people say, man, I'm gonna deal with both of y'all. You know what I'm saying? They try to stay neutral. And it was a rough time, I think, for the conscious community, especially here in Baltimore. You know what I'm saying? Like when that happened, a lot of people was disappointed. You know what I'm saying? Some people was happy. You know, you got the happy people like, you know what I mean? You know, but
about them today.
But a lot of people, you know what I mean? So when we made that major announcement that we will be opening up this new shop. People have been calling me and they've been really excited. So that kicked off the fundraiser that we actually have going on. So we got the fundraiser that we have going on to raise the funds so that we can build for our people. See, look, I know a lot of people, they do fundraisers and they want to have a million, you know, I mean, they want to start off with big universities and they want to start off with these huge campuses and all that kind of stuff. Sometimes you just got to start small. You got to start small, you know what I'm saying? And so when I started the Conscious Heads Barbering Boot Camp, I had 3 people in my class when I first started. You know what I mean? And we did it right in my barbershop, in one little corner of the barbershop when I started. No model, no nothing. You know what I'm saying? It was just like I came up with the concept and I did. We went with it. And I was like, okay, next time around, I'm going to do it like this. Next time around, I'm going to do it like this. And I started adding on to it. And I added unique systems to it. And, you know what I mean? And then, you know, to start to master the way that I was actually doing it, you know what I mean? And I put a formula to it. So, you know, we start small. Just to go back a little bit, to tell you about my whole story. I started off on I've been cutting hair for like 30 something years. And so my father was like my first real client, you know. Crazy because he was very particular about his hair. I don't even know how I got the job. You know what I mean? I think it was a thing of just him being proud that I cut his hair or something. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know how I got the job. I you know, I cut his hair. I didn't even understand about the clippers and all that kind of stuff. But he liked it, and every time I would come to his house on the weekend, hey man, bring your clippers with you, you know. And so I would cut his hair, you know what I'm saying? Like on the weekend, we'd be sitting right in the kitchen, in between the kitchen and the dining room, and I would come and cut his hair. And then that went on, you know what I'm saying, to you know, to even when he passed away. And when my dad passed away, that was the first time that I ever cut a person hair that was deceased, you know what I'm saying? Like first hair that I ever did. And for a while I was like, when I had to do it, I said, man, I really don't know if I can do this. And you know what I mean? So the barbering client relationship, like you become counselor, sometimes they become counselor. One of my clients, Brother Mark, big shout out to him. He said, you know what, Brother Jabari, don't take it as a thing of, you know what I'm saying? Like he said, won't you make this special? And I think if you make this a special thing that you know what I'm saying, and you embrace it like that, then I think you look at it different. He was right. So I reversed my mind. I was like, let me put my man away right. You know what I'm saying? Let me make sure he's tight and let me make sure he's together. You know what I mean? So I looked at it like that, and it was something that I'm really glad that I did to this day. You know what I mean? So I'm glad that I did that. You know what I'm saying? So he was my first client. And so from him being my first client, I was ambitious. I had clippers. I didn't even understand the clippers all the way, but I kept, hey man, let me cut your hair. Let me cut your hair. Yeah, you know, some people got that work. You know, when I mean that work, you know what I mean, they became victims, you know what I mean, of my growing pains.
I mean, but luckily you've learned. That's why you are a master barber now. And like you were tell everyone that wonderful story about the young barber and the mother that was like, oh, I don't know if I want him to do his hair. You remember the story?
Oh yeah. Cam the barber, and we went out to matter of fact, can you table that? Let me come back to that. Let me come back to that story.
Okay.
And lead back from the barber and how I got started with my father. But so from there I would I started cutting hair, started convincing people to cut their hair, and people would let me do it, you know. And so I did that throughout. So I started in middle school at the 7th grade, and then I cut my hair like every week since that, all throughout high school. When I got out, I wasn't really going to do the barbering thing like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, cause I cut heads, but I wasn't cutting like a whole lot of heads. There was brothers, like one of the brothers that came out to the event, Brother Anduele. He cut at Reflection, one of the owners, he cut my hair when I was in the 7th grade. He actually cut a Mickey Mouse in the back of my head. Made a design,
I
back then.
remember those.
Yeah, so he cut that. And then brother Antoine Styles, we call Cincinnati, he was the one that was really cutting hair around the way. You know what I'm saying? Like he was cutting a lot of heads. I was cutting like a small percentage, but I was cutting. But he was the main person. But I would go throughout school, didn't know I was gonna pick it up, and then I got myself into the consciousness movement, and I started working at Everyone's Place. And then there was a guy named Mr. Leon, my master barber, and he would come through there talking a lot and stuff. And I knew I needed a skill or something or trade. And he told me he was a master barber. And next time I said, when he came in, I said, I'm gonna ask him if he would be a master barber for me. And I asked him, he said, yeah. And that's how, that journey started. So I started at this place called True Cuts. Shout out to Rodney Bulls, who owned that shop on 2015 North Charles Street. I started there and I went on. I got my license, and right away the shop was closing down. So we moved. I started looking where to go. So I found a building. And once I found that building, 219 East 25th Street, we had to fight for that building. And because it wasn't zoned correctly. And so we went around with petitions. It was me and brother Sunyata at the time. And then we went and got all these petitions. And one person door that we knocked on, who's a big supporter, he didn't make it out the other day, but he'll be involved. Was a lady came to the door and she's like, brother Carl, come to the door. And it was brother Carl Stokes. And brother Carl Stokes came to the door and he's like, okay, I'll help you. And since that day, that brother's been helping us. Every call that I've given, down to the zoning board, the zoning commission, the planning commission. And, he just helped out every step of the way. He's still my client to this day. And we really got a lot of love for brother Carl Stokes. So he came out, he helped us. And then from there, we moved there to the shop. We opened up in 2000, August 17th, Marcus Garvey's birthday. Is when we opened year 2000, the year my first daughter was born near. And from there we went on, had a nice run, Survivors Nation, in the prisons, doing a whole lot of stuff in the community and doing a lot of things. And from there, real life started to happen. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was married, brother Sunyata was married. And a lot of things just started to happen, and then we would have a disagreement, you know what I'm saying, and Sunyata and Dwele would move and open their own shop, and it became tough times. My grandmother had passed away like during that time. My grandmother, my uncle, and my brother-in-law had passed away all around the same time. So it was like I never really experienced that type of, I experienced death before, but these are all people that were really close to me, you know what I'm saying, that passed away. And then beyond that, you know what I'm saying, me and brother Sunyata, we had been together like, our whole life. Coming up as young men, that was going away. And then I started going through a divorce during the time, you know what I'm saying, and then my business was like hanging on by a string, you know what I'm saying, by a strand. And then eventually, you know what I'm saying, like I lost the business. 219 East 25th Street, I lost it. We went out of it. We had to move everything out. We got rid of everything. The whole building was closed, like closed. And that was about 2014, I think. For a few years. The
really?
guy, yeah.
I missed that phase.
Yeah.
I didn't even know.
Yeah, we totally lost the building. Lost the business. I got cars repoed during that time, lost properties. It was like it was a time I was just like losing just everything. And and that's why I call myself, you know what I'm saying, like I don't write a book about it, like the comeback king. But I'm not saying, I'm gonna tell you why I say comeback king, not just off of just come back. I'm gonna tell you why. But once I lost everything, I went to Sunyata's shop. They were on Charles Street at the time. I went to work there. And even though we had our vibes were, we didn't mess with each other. It was a comfortable place because pretty much it was a continuation of what Conscious Heads was already doing, the same vibe. So I could go there. Before I went there, I attempted to go to another shop, and I went to that shop, and I was like, if I stay in this shop, I'm going to hurt somebody, and my life is not going to be easy. Not just because
no, it wasn't that bad, was it?
No, it was just that I remember I've never been in, besides the other shop that I was in, I pretty much created that vibe. You know what I mean? So it was horrible. They had like this like hard gangster rap plan. It was children in there, and it was just like everything that we stood against. And I can remember, actually, it was Sister Eartha, Sister Eartha that called my phone. I was sitting in my chair, and she gave me a call, and I answered the phone. I was sitting in the chair, and I was like, man, I can't. I'm gonna go crazy. And I walked outside, and once I walked outside, then I walked to my van. Then I went to the van and I started the car up, and I rode because it was right up the street from my house. And I went in front of my door and I said, I'm never going back there again, ever. I can't. My spirit is killing my spirit. I can't do it. You know what I mean? Brother Suniata had already called me and said, look, if you need somewhere to come, you know what I'm saying, come up here, because, you know, you know what I mean? Like, at the time, I'm his teacher, you know what I'm saying? And we got a little thing going on. So I had to tuck my head, you know what I mean? And be like, all right, let me
That's some brother love, though. That's
it was definitely. Yeah. And so I went there, and I was comfortable. They didn't make it uncomfortable for me, and I mean, you know, but it's still, we wasn't the way that we was, you know what I mean, before. So I went there, and then all of a sudden they decided they were moving back to St. Paul Street, and the guy with the building, he didn't sell a building at 219. He didn't sell it, and I ran across him, and he was like, kind of like, hey, you want to try this again? First, I was like, no, because my spirit was kind of like, man, I lost it. And I was just kind of broken. But all along,
that would have thrown me off too.
Yeah, I was doing Watoto from the Nile real heavy with my daughters. You know what I mean? So they were actually picking up, doing really well during the time. So I had committed myself to writing for Watoto. We were doing kale chips. Watoto from the Nile, kale chips.
And that Tubman fish.
Look,
you gotta bring that Tubman fish back.
No matter how down and out I was, and some people knew and didn't know, I continued to do lectures. I continued to always be the pavement doing something. So I was never like, no, I'm not doing it. No, I sat and I laid back. You know what I mean? I always fought back, and I always kept fighting. You know, so we fought and fought and fought. And so next thing you know, I said, well, you know what? Let's go ahead and take a stab back at this shop thing. You know, and so you know, geared up and went back into the shop. We went into the shop. It was just three of us. You know what I'm saying? It was me and another one of my barbers who has his own barbershop. One of my apprentice barbers, Brother Tacoma, myself, and a young lady, stylist that was there at the time. And you know what I mean? So it was like, no, not Oshun. This was after. This is after that. Oshun was there, during the time before we closed. Yeah. Yep. She was there early on. But this is not when we went back in there. Now, remember, all my stuff was gone. We stripped everything out. No chairs. I started with like 2 chairs. One was kind of messed up. We didn't have a TV. We ain't had nothing. I went back in that shop and didn't have a clue of how I was going to make it in that shop.
Wow.
Didn't have a clue, but I had faith. You know what I'm saying? It was just like, how am I going to make it in here? I don't even know.
Yeah, so that's the type of person that you want to invest in. This is this person leading this movement. This is a movement that's going to train people in a skill, but they're getting trained by people that have the don't stop, get it attitude. You know, don't stop, get it. You know, and is serious about the community. This brother is sharing that he was teaching and serving while he was going through changes. And we as people of color know what it's like to have to transform and transition through adversity. What greater way to invest in people that you care about by, number one, sending young adults or older adults to this barbering boot camp. And if you don't know anyone, investing in this movement so there's more people that can get a trade where they can eat and be their own boss.
Right.
And this is not like one of them quickie type of little situations. This is a person. These are 2 people, Sundiata and Jabari, that have established businesses in this community that can be seen and know they do great work. And they are building a larger community of doers and thrivers. And this is a great opportunity to invest back. And the donations can start as low as what? $13.17?
Well, look, so we saying you could get whatever you want. You know what I'm saying?
more.
We got the Cash App going. We got the link in that you can actually go to the actual page. We would prefer that you do that. But if you wanted to do Cash App or to the PayPal, you can actually do that. But we prefer you go to the link that's in the in the comments that we're gonna put in. We'll put it in there actually later to whatever platform that you on. But you can get what you want. But what we saying is because of House Bill 1317, we saying $13.17. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, to supporting, like, we don't talk a lot, like, I mean, you know, about stuff, you know what I mean? We do is, you know what I'm saying? A lot of times we move off faith and we know we're gonna make this happen. You know, when this opens back up, I mean, we together, Reflection Eternal, Conscious Heads, we have given hundreds of jobs that we've been able to provide through the years to our community. Stylists, barbers, people that come through trash removers, people in the community. We employ snowball stands, you name it, we create those jobs, and we'll create way more jobs, you know what I'm saying? Because this is more than likely going to wind up being a chain of shops is what we actually looking at, because it's a snowball effect. So we looking to create a movement that's going to make changes in the community, and not just about cutting hair, putting hair on the floor, but to actually be a barber. You know what I'm saying? That's spiritual. It's a ministry. It's a teaching. You know what I mean? So when we actually talk over people's heads, over their chakra, over their head chakra, we give them that energy, that feeling that we need to help to change and transform our community, so they won't have an experience like when I went to that other barbershop. And of course, I would never call it out, but yeah, I was traumatized, and I was like, man, never again. What I had realized that what I had created in, you know what I mean, a Conscious Heads, and that vibe that was there, and I'm like, man, we need that, and we'll be able to take. We got for young children, we have there's gonna be a special program, entrepreneur program, that we're gonna have for some of our young barbers, for special forces that we're gonna actually put together. That's gonna be actually traveling with us, you know what I'm saying, like, you know, to different places in Baltimore, or maybe, you know, other places also, but they're gonna learn how to not only cut hair, but to become entrepreneurs, because at the end of the day, we want our people to become entrepreneurs. We want them to be able to build wealth in our community, and that's what it's all about. You know what I mean? And anybody who knows us from Survivors Nation, Reality Speaks, the information that we've been giving to the community, that's what it's all about at the end of the day. So I know a lot of people give to, like, a lot of people who, you know, who come up, they haven't even started schools. They just they good at talking about what their vision is for the school, and a lot of people giving a lot of money and empty dollars to people with their dreams and these stories that they tell about schools that they open and all that. But you know what I'm saying? Like what we doing, you know what I'm saying? It's like, it's there. You can see the school, you know what I'm saying? It's going to happen because we got a team of people that's like me, who won't quit, who won't give up. And we just keep on coming, and we going to come. And believe me, when we do it, we bring in people with us, you know what I'm saying? And right now there's hundreds, but to have people by the thousands, I mean, we studied the Annie Malones and the Madam C.J. Walkers, and, you know what I'm saying, and many great barbers, and many of the great research that we're going to continue to do. But that black barbershop, the salon, you know what I'm saying, you know what I mean, and all those different places, we use these as healing centers. And you know what I mean, and before you know it, like, you know, this is happening all over the city, where we actually able to do these things. And not just about our barbershops, but we support those other barbershops and salons and stuff that's actually doing things at the same time, because it's all about unity. We're not saying it's just about Conscious Heads, Reflection Eternal, or Conscious Reflection, but you know what I mean, so we could be able to help and be able to even shoot barbers out, you know what I mean, from our program there, you know what I'm saying, to other barbershops and all. But it's all love, it's all peace, you know, and we excited. We're excited about, you know, the things to come and what's going to happen in our community. But there, $13.17, $13.17 is what we're saying, you know what I mean? But you can give whatever you want to
give more.
And oh no, I'm sorry. You can give up to you know what I mean, we got the 500, we got the $1,000 donation.
And you can monthly give too, right? Like, say you make, but if you want to give something every month, like you buy coffee, we buy our fancy coffees. My fancy Dunkin' Donuts coffee is like about $5 or $6.
Yeah, you can you can give monthly if you want to, you know. So we got that set up there. If you go to the link, you can go in and give monthly also. So, you know, we saying share the link, share the link, you know what I'm saying? And you know,
and also make sure you tell everyone that you're about to blow up the YouTube streets. With some classic lectures. Now I know y'all be on YouTube and y'all see the different lectures from from different scholars. But you must remember, especially from people in Baltimore, that the scholars, when they came to town, they came through Reality Speaks. And there's a lot of classic lectures that are in the vaults that he's about to unload,
about to unleash
that
them.
never been on the internet. So all the other YouTube videos with Bobby Hemmett, Anthony Browder, Dr. Cress Wesseling, Francis Cress Wesseling, they're good, but he will have the raw, sure enough lectures that have not been in the public domain in maybe 20 or 15 years. So you need to subscribe to the YouTube channel.
Yeah, click the like button. Click the like button.
Click the like button and put your email in the comments so that we can add you to the mailing list, because there's going to be old, vintage, classic content and new content that you'll want to be a part of. I'm sorry, I want to make sure we
definitely. And I know you got to get ready to get out of here. In conclusion, that story with my barber in boot camp. Now we went out to cut hair, and so my very young barber, 12 at the time, very short little guy, and so we out there, and lady say, "Hey, I want to come over. Can I get my son's haircut?" And I say, "Cam, raise your hand." So he raised his hand. And lady said, "No, I need somebody that's gonna cut my son's hair." I was like, "Well, there you go, right there." She's like, "What, sir? I don't mean no harm. I'm not gonna play these games. Like I'm not gonna let no little boy cut my son hair. My son's bigger than him. I'm not letting no little boy cut my son's hair, whatever." So I was like, "Okay." She asked, "Can somebody else do it?" I said, "Okay." So then another person went and got into Cam's chair, and then Cam gave him a nice little fresh shape up. She was like, "You think he can cut my other son?" Said, she's like, "I'm so sorry, young man," whatever, you know what I'm saying? But this is what we building, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, maybe we're gonna have a fleet of young barbers that's younger than 14. I mean, between the ages of 10 and 14.
Hairstylists too.
Natural hairstyle.
Ladies out and makeup.
Yeah, and makeup. So this is what we built. We back in the, like I said, the spirit of Madam Walker, the spirit of Annie Malone, the spirit of all those great barbers from the past. I'm telling you, we coming back around with that energy to, like I said, to be not just people that make you feel good on the outside, but to take care of the insides too, because our community, we need a lot of healing in our community. It's a lot of healing work that needs to happen. And in the barbershop, natural hair salon, all of that's going to be one of the hubs where people come in. I can't tell you the many young people that I see out in the street. Mr. Jabari, remember you used to cut my hair? Or sometimes I don't know, because they got like beards and stuff. I used to cut their hair when they was little boys. Yeah, you know what I mean? So I'm like, sometimes I do remember, sometimes I don't. But you know what I mean? They tell me like, "Man, y'all the reason all them debates y'all used to have in there," you know. So but y'all stay tuned, like, because even when we do Bonded by the Blade with Brother Sunyata, when we bring barbers on, we're gonna have topics, and we're gonna bring the barber in Florida, y'all, because that's what we do. Like, we debate all the time. I'm known as like a master instigator for debates, you know what I'm saying? And that's just what we do, because we keep the floor alive, we keep it rolling, we keep it, and people enjoy coming because they hear that stuff, you know what I mean? And they get a lot of information, knowledge, and they just enjoy themselves when they come out. So that's it. We just wanted to go live with y'all, and you know what I mean, and just tell a story. But I'll be coming on live a lot more. And then we have the Bonded by the Blade that's gonna be with y'all tomorrow. We'll send out emails. Make sure y'all drop your emails. Like the like button, subscribe to what we're doing. I just put up a new video with Malik Zulu Shabazz on the book that he did on Reality Speaks, or what I just put that up, so you can watch that on YouTube. We just loaded that up about the life of Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad. We just on our Patreon. I always say it's Patreon. And our Patreon page, we just built Reality Speaks. You can go there. We'll put the link there too. We just put up the brand new Dr. Boyce Watkins that we just did 2 weeks ago. He
was just here for last week.
Yep. We just loaded that up, and so we're gonna have, so you can go there and you can look at that lot. You know what I mean? That spanking new off the press.
The full lecture, not snippets.
Yeah,
right?
the full lecture.
So they'll be able to see the full lecture of recent content that he gave.
Yep.
Wow.
Just go in there, and you can be a member and follow us, and we'll give you exclusive stuff. Like you said, we got old lectures we got old lectures.
Don't call them old. Don't call them old. Call them classics.
Classic. Well, let's call them classic. Classic. We got Dr. Africa. We got everybody. You know what I mean? So it's gonna be on and popping. So y'all make sure y'all subscribe And make sure y'all share this video. And hey, man, y'all support what we doing. I'm telling you, don't wait too late and sit back and see. I'm trying to tell you, get on board. We making history together. That's all I'm saying. We making history. Let's make history together. We do it with the people. I've been here for 26 years, and all we've been doing is building, you know, and building and building. And now let's just take it over the top. I mean, when I leave this earth, I want to leave something here for my people, for my children, for my wife, you know what I'm saying? For, you know what I mean? For everybody, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, for our people. So let's do it. You know what I mean? I won't quit. We're gonna make those shirts. We got the Bonded by the Blaze shirts coming out. We got the merch coming out. But you know, y'all see the link at the bottom. Share this, family, and thanks for joining in today.
All right. Thank you for having me. And I look forward to sharing some more with you. This is good. I'm excited.
Well, thank you for coming on.
All right, bro.
All right. Peace.